Let's take a look. We got a poll question for you today. You see it right there. Underneath the Hearthside Bank logo, you can click that QR code with your smartphone, or you can go to our website, ssdn.tv, or sportsource.tv still works. Go to the polls button and you can play along. Our question for the day, the AP poll put Tennessee at number 24 this week. Where will the Vols finish the season? Where will they be ranked in the end? Options, top 5, top 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, or unranked.
73% right now say 15 or lower.
Look at that, 27%, is that right, saying unranked?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, we'll see if that starts moving. Go ahead and start clicking for us. We want to see where you think the Vols will finish the season. And it takes a while when everybody starts clicking.
If I'm not mistaken, the team that finished 25th last year finished 8-4.
Yeah.
So you're saying Tennessee is either 8-4 or worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all that negativity Vince has been spewing down there.
Clearly.
People voting unranked.
Yeah.
All right, so Vince, we'll start with you, and you can turn these people around. Reasons to feel positive. Reasons to feel positive. Names that you didn't expect to hear mentioned as much. Position groups that may be a little better than what you thought. Anything that you take as a reason to have a little bit more confidence than what you had before fall camp.
Well, I think as far as a name, I would start with Jesse Perry. I didn't expect him to be this good, lock down that position, and really forced a more veteran player in Sam Pendleton into just competing at that center position, as opposed to we were thinking which would be the Sam Pendleton destination and then who would be the one opposite there. So I think it's a great development. He's put on over 50 pounds, super strong, smart. I think it's a great development for Tennessee to have that kind of solid starter at right guard, and then Pendleton at center, which is, I think, the more important position, especially with a new quarterback. Also, that whole offensive line with that development, I think, is more positive than maybe you could have thought of going in. Another thing is the tight end position. Knew this tight end position with what they brought in the signing class was outstanding. But, man, those guys are ready to go, especially Deshaun Brandon, who didn't have spring practice.
Yeah.
I think that guy is going to be a star. And then running back, I think, is another really –
leave some for the rest of us.
So, but overall, my point is there are some positives on offense, even though the passing game has left questions.
I think you can make a case that just about everything's a positive except for the passing game.
Yeah.
There are some positives to be found in all these pockets.
Yep.
Secondary may be because you've had some guys out and you've got off-field issues with Boo Carter. But Deshaun Brame is one guy. Deshaun Brame's a name that I did not expect to hear as much. Travis Smith Jr., and maybe that's because everybody I talked to has said this guy just looks fantastic. He looks the part. Now, last year I heard that about Chris Brazzell. But Travis Smith is getting a ton of talk. But the one that really takes the cake for me is Lance Hurd. I've heard you say it. I've heard other people say this. And I heard this from somebody who was at the practice the other day, that Lance Hurd looks like a guy on a mission. He looks like a guy who is out to prove last year was about the foot injury. That is not me. That he looks dedicated to having a big year.
Contract year.
That's right. So, but still, that is a surprise. I did not expect to hear him being usually the guy who everybody was mad at the year before is not the guy who's getting a ton of pub the second year. He's getting a ton of pub, so good for him.
I've not tried to say that he's going to be Darnell Wright, but I think he will have a Darnell Wright-like jump his junior year.
Ollie Lane has been making that comparison for a while now, going back to when you guys were doing a spring show on the Sports Source Digital Network. But, Ollie's been tying that to Darnell Wright. Jimmy.
Well, interesting that Vince brought up Perry. There was a coach that said that they thought Perry was the most talented offensive lineman on the team.
He looks really good.
I thought was really a couple of them that have impressed me are on defense in the secondary. There's the concern about McCoy being out, and that's a legitimate concern, right?
And Boo Carter not getting as many snaps as you would like.
So Hood has done a nice job, the transfer from Colorado. Farouk has done a pretty good job, too, in the secondary. I think the secondary's come along to the point where even without McCoy, they can still be competent. Obviously, they'd be better with an All-American.
Certainly.
But with a couple of guys in the secondary playing maybe at a higher level than I would have thought, I think that's good news.
Tyler, wrap us up.
From positives, Mike Matthews being used in special teams if Boo Carter is not available, or what some of the second or third tier guys are, kickoff and special teams. So Mike Matthews is a wide receiver. Sure, you expect that versatility and where you can use some of those guys. 100%. Mike Matthews being able to blossom more than just being a wide receiver. When you talk about guys who got those big pay raises, Lance Hurd, where was he last year? Mike Matthews, oh, you're handing out more money to Boo Carter. Mike Matthews, another man who seems like, how much can you keep me on the football field so I can earn the pay that I got on the offseason?
Well, and Hurd wants to get drafted is what I was referring to. But yeah, that's definitely part of that too. I was going to say Star Thomas is the name I was going to throw in. I did not expect to hear a lot of buzz about him. Sounds like he's had a really good camp where Tennessee really can count on all three running backs.
I'll give you two things I did not expect to hear before camp started, just to end up here. One, that I expected everybody to say the defense could be just as good. I've heard people, including you, say the defense could be better than last year. That's a heck of a statement.
Yeah.
The other one is that even though you don't have one for one, that this triumvirate of running backs, credit to me for triumvirate, this group of running backs could be as good as what Dylan Sampson gave you last year, which that is a very big positive. If you can get the same production out of these three that you got from what was basically one guy last year, that's a win.
I throw in DeJuan Morris, too, because I think he's a freshman who's going to eventually find his way on the field. Just got to get the pass protection down. Those four backs, Josh Heupel said it just a couple days ago, that's probably as deep as we've been at running back. That's a pretty good statement.
They were deep a few years ago.
Yeah, when you had Wright, Sampson, and
Small.
Jari Small, yeah. So.
And people have talked about, hey, you can rely on Josh Heupel in developing quarterbacks. Last 2 years, you dipped a little bit in quarterbacks. The one thing you can depend on with Josh Heupel is them running the football and being productive in the run game.
And Jimmy, you have made the point early on when he was doing the up-tempo stuff that part of this, it's the system that helps getting 200 yards a game rushing. It hasn't been as up-tempo the last 2 years. So at some point, and we'll see what it is this year, but at some point we may need to recalibrate that and say, okay, is he just good at producing a run game regardless of the tempo? So we can discuss that at a later date.